you all the speakers. You did a wonderful, wonderful job. Bello, Ibrahim, and if I forget your name, please pardon me. All right, I'm here to tell you a story. And by the way, I came with two of my colleagues. Busola is a senior program officer. Busola, if you're somewhere, thank you. And then today, all right. The question to be specific. I was in an office about a few years ago. Let me not go into the details. I got a mail from somebody from the University of Lagos. He wanted to do internship, the break 3 month thing that university student must come used to have. And prior to that, we've sent mail to NYC requesting for NYC to come and be part of our team. By the way, African Foundation for Young Media Professionals is a non-profit organization that train younger journalists, middle-aged journalists, 5 year downward. Um, that has trained over 4,000 journalists across Africa. Specifically, we also do reporting on different traders, and we have an annual conference. So I got this mail from this individual requesting to do his 3 months internship between July and October. And in my mind, I said, okay, let's see what happened. And we sent back email and said, can you come to our office around 2 p.m., whatever. And the individual showed up. And I had conversation with him. Don't forget this, he was here an undergraduate at that time. He came with several skills that most of NYC's corporate that we have requested for did not have any. I remember we asked for one NYC, you have to be a mass comm student, graduate and all of that. And he came and we interviewed him, no portfolio like Bello said, nothing. You don't have a published job. Even if you are in print, even if you are broadcasting, can you tell us how many videos you have done and all of that? Your digital skills, nothing. And we have to reject all the four NYC. And so this young guy came into the office and asked what other skill. He has a cinematography skill. That means he can handle camera and record everything. He can edit very well, as in top-notch editing. All right. He can also do a lot of design. I mean, graphic design and all of that. And this revolves around some of the things we do, some of the trainings we do, because we go around teaching middle level, mid-career journalists across Nigeria and outside Nigeria and all of that. And prior to his coming, we had we had in the pipeline Difficult Conversation Africa podcast, a podcast that discusses issue of development and all of that. And now this is a young guy that came in with all the skills that were needed and all of that. Now, what am I trying to say? It becomes so difficult for us to say no to him. Why? Because he came with all the skill set that are necessary for our job. We are not just only media development organization. We also have what we call Center for Disability and Inclusion Africa, where we do social justice and push for human rights of persons with disability, whether you're a journalist and all of that. And then we also have what we call the profit arm of the organization. But the skill this individual brought in, he has the digital skill, he has the strategic thinking, he can also think straight, he has the ownership of the business. You understand what I mean? He came with that ownership of the business because of his experience elsewhere. He holds an idea, he can push it and all of that. Now, this guy today has been with us for some years. He's a communication officer, and we are growing him to take over for me as CEO of African Foundation for Young Media Professionals. Please celebrate today for me, because he has been with us for some years. And now, what am I trying to say? You can't be a mass comm student in this age with no skill. Nobody is interested in that. You cannot be a mass comm student today, no digital skill, no critical thinking ability. I do know that our schools need to do a lot of more work in critical thinking and problem solving. which we have seen is a bit not as very pronounced in some of the products we have today. But critical thinking, problem solving, that's very essential. 2025 LinkedIn workplace assessment. For those of you who, if you have, somebody has said that you have to be on LinkedIn. 2025 workplace assessment said that your soft skills are very important. Coursera 2025 report on workplace assessment also said the same thing. You will always need the soft skill. Critical thinking is very important. Problem solving is very important. What your degree can do for you, even if you have a first class, is to open the door for you. After that one, what will sustain you is all that skill that you bring to the table. You cannot, and I keep telling our staff, I say, see, become so indispensable that they cannot fire you except you want to go. Come with something like some of them have shared with us the skills they have built while in school. There's no beyond degree if there's no foundation. When my daughter was in SS1, I told her, you need public speaking skill. You need to develop how to do PowerPoint presentation. Just SS1. You need to be able to write very well to a certain level. And if you speak very well, open a YouTube account and begin to build portfolios. If you can write very well, have a blog spot where you can write and people can see something. And I remember we have been with campus journalists several times. Ibrahim, thank you. Also, networking ability. All of them are stressed that you can't do without networking. Ibrahim had known quite a lot of people in the industry today that he can actually call and say, I'm looking for a job. Yes, knowing how to sell, they've told you, they've shared all of that. But the fact is, no matter how good you are, or fine looking or handsome you are, people are not going to buy into your face only. They're going to buy into what skill you have to the table. So just to round up, realize that you need hard skill, but your hard skill cannot take you anywhere. Realize that you need networking ability, and as a master student, develop something. Somebody has said that, okay, I don't know how to do anything. I'll tell you a story and I'll round up. As I entered university in 1992, as an undergraduate, I knew I wanted to write. And therefore, I started writing to newspapers. I will talk about environment. I went to OSU in those days. It's no longer OSU, it's now OOU and all of that. So thank you. We will, because of timing, I don't want to take all our timing. We continue. Let me just put it this way. What advice would I give to a young media graduate with the environment becoming competitive? One word, or maybe two words: don't wait. The moment you identify your skill, the moment you know that this is what you are good at, start doing what you are supposed to do. No waiting. There's a campaign that is going across Africa now that we are part of. We call it no waiting. Whatever skill you know how to do. And I was trying to share a story. 1991-92 session, there was a competition in my university about storytelling. I love to do storytelling, but I wasn't good. And I went in. To be honest, when the remark about my story came, I nearly cried. This guy was a 400 level student, an English student, and he marked all the story. You know, when they return your work with red line everywhere, it could have discouraged me. I said, no. The issue of honing your skill is like praying. You can talk about praying till tomorrow, but you must start praying. The issue of writing is that you must continue to write and write. The moment you start writing, like he said, put your work out there. My best professional network is LinkedIn. I have gotten quite a large number of international jobs through LinkedIn. Push yourself there. Put a LinkedIn there. As a journalist, maybe as a journalist who love print, mock track is very important. All your story, put it there. And please, that's what we call report until something happened, which he did. I remember what we did where our office was, where our office is in the Ikeja area. When we got to that environment, the roads were bad, the drainages were bad and all of that. We have a newspaper that we call Nigeria Grassroots News, and that's what we started writing to the National Assembly, the representative, and all of that, and every person that matters in Ikeja, writing into different platforms, not just only using our platform. Today, that area where we are, the roads are tarred, the gutters are done, and everything is done. Don't think that who is listening to you, or who is sitting, or who is looking at you. You'll be shocked who is listening, and you'll be shocked. Like he said, he did a story. Just put yourself out there, use your mock track, use your LinkedIn very, very well. The first job I got outside the country was through my LinkedIn profile. I just got, I'm very interested in development issues. And so I consult for United Nations agencies across Africa and all of that. And therefore, there was, I think in 2005 or 2007, I got a mail from South Africa saying that they have picked like 20 journalists and communication specialists across Africa to come and work with them in South Africa. I said, and in those days, we thought that, I said, I want Yahoo today. Because I was never, I didn't believe that somebody was watching what I was doing globally. Use the internet. I used to run Blogspot. From Blogspot, I moved to YinkaOlaito.com and all of that. And one thing led to another. I now said, okay, if truly I was part of this, because me myself, I did the counting. If we are going to do 20 journalists or 20 communication experts across Africa, who knows my father, who knows my name? I said it was a lie. Me myself, I can even count 20 names across Africa who are international media experts who could have been selected. But one thing led to another. I said, okay, send me a mail to be sure that this is really a very true thing. And then please copy your Nigeria country office so that I'm sure. And from there, I now said, okay, I'm not coming to Abuja. Can I send my passport and you get me a South African visa and all of that? Today, it started from there. What am I trying to say? Don't forget, don't wait. The moment you build your skill, use the internet. You will always get it right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Matters to you. Now, does first class really matter to you? Because that's really important. If you are going to make first class, that means you have to be in class. But does first class really matters after school? So that will help you to prioritize what is important to you. I knew a guy who entered Ife and he said to himself, I don't need a first class. If I can make a T2, but I must build a brand that a first class cannot get the job that a T2 will get. You understand what I'm trying to say? So I'm not saying you should undervalue your academics, but please focus on what matters, build around what matters to you. If first class is important, you have to be in class. But if first class is not important, and I've seen that oftentimes, as much as first class is good, when you get outside your university, nobody actually asks you whether you're a first class. Except you want to go to Harvard. If you want to go to Harvard, you will need a first class for your But if Harvard, and the Harvard has several other skills that you can build, and you're also attending Harvard like every other person, only that you are not attending as academics. You are academics from the professional side of it, and you are building your knowledge. So when you go to any company to go and work, what are the basic skills that I have and what matters, and how can I use that to enhance that corporate environment and I move on? So what matters is important.